I now call George Adam to be followed by Drew Smith. This is George Adams' first speech in the Scottish Parliament.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. I'd like to thank Humza Yousaf for stealing the beginning of my speech, and could I thank James Dornan for actually stealing the content of my speech. My office will now be locked from now on as soon as I get the keys. But I stand before you a proud Paisley buddy, the grandson of a Mull lassie from Ferguslie, and there's been a lot of talk about legacies. In Paisley, the legacy of the Mull lassies is that they were always paid the most money. They were the ones that had the purse strings, they were the ones that were charged with decision making, and we ended up having a legacy of very strong-willed women. I married one of these women as time went on, and she met Prince Charles last night, and I'll be sending an apology to the palace as soon as I can. But Paisley is my hometown, and it's an honour to be the first member in this Parliament representing the town in its entirety. My mother-in-law has often said, I am unique. I thought she was being less than complimentary, but it turns out she's right. I am unique. I am the only person to represent Paisley in this Parliament in its entirety. It's important to remember some of the politicians who have represented my town in the past, though. Hugh Henry and Wendy Alexander represented various parts of Paisley since the reconvening of the Parliament. But I would like to take time to mention a Paisley buddy who represented the town and always fought its corner. Councillor Jim Mitchell died earlier this year, and he was a father figure to me and a major influence in my life, my political life as well as my life. He was a father figure. He was also very involved in Derek Mackay's political life as well. He dedicated his life to the people of Paisley, both as a local activist and 30 years as a councillor, and never lost his passion for Scottish independence. I've actually mentioned that bit here because Jimmy's ghost will be sitting there saying you didn't get independence in your speech. He'll be missed every day, and I'll endeavour to represent Paisley in the manner that Jim would be proud of. Although I am quite glad he isn't here today because, as I told you, he would be telling me everything I've done wrong and how I could have done my speech a lot better. But on my way in here today, people said, you're talking about sport, George. When are you going to mention your passion for St Mirren? Well, here it is. There are some other people who represented the great town of Paisley in its sporting endeavours. In 1959, David Lapsley lifted the Scottish Cup. I wasn't there. I was born in '69. I may look a wee bit older, but I wasn't there. I had the honour of actually naming a street after Mr Lapsley. Although not born in Paisley, he actually adopted the town and represented the town well over the years. Billy Abercrombie in 1987 had his own problems with alcohol and everything else after he left football. Thankfully, he's getting beyond that, but he represented the town very well during that period. But how that is important is you can see how sport can make a difference in a community or a town like Paisley. On both these occasions, everyone in the community put aside their differences and supported their local football team, regardless of what football team they actually supported. They supported their town. We even got to the stage in '59 where Mr Lapsley was even pronounced the King of Paisley. So sporting success can make a difference in our communities, but it's not all about winning trophies. As this motion quite rightly states, it's about access to sport. It's good that the Scottish Government is providing most of the investment for the Glasgow Commonwealth Games, and this will have financial benefit for all of Scotland, and in particular the West. As everyone knows, Glasgow Airport is in fact in Paisley, and in Renfrewshire we are actually saying we are the gateway to the Games. So the SNP-led administration has been investing in sports for the future. There's been investment of £7 million in Seathill and Ralston playing fields, 3G pitches, better changing facilities, working with St Mirren at Allenton playing field for a new training centre for our Premier League team. Regardless of which team you support, it is a benefit for any town like Paisley to have a Premier League football team. We're also currently investing £92 million in the Education and Leisure Capital Expenditure Programme that will upgrade many of our sporting facilities. All of this done during times of financial constraint, and it's all about the priorities, and sport is one of the priorities that we've had in Renfrewshire. Particularly the Lagoon Centre, it will have £7 million worth of refurbishment. The ongoing development of the community sporting hubs in Paisley recently received more funding from both of the Paisley local area committees, ensuring that sporting clubs can join together, offering them hope that they can actually still endeavour to do their best within the sports and to encourage them to become part of the community hub network. I'm also looking for further funding for tennis courts in Brodie Park. There is an old red ash tennis court that's only used 1 week after Wimbledon. It's not just about football, it's actually about other sports as well. And I've been looking for this for some time. We need to obviously get some people that are involved in tennis to take control of it and get the investment. But I have community activists involved with that as well. In the same area, we actually had a play park for pensioners, which the media found it was quite interesting. For £20,000, we had a gym for people to use in the public park. Not a new idea, not rocket science, but something that was laughed at initially, but has been very successful since. Access to people of all ages, make sure that everyone can mix in the park like the park was meant to be used for in the past. Renfrewshire also has its award-winning diversionary street stuff. It's council, police, St Mirren, local bus company and various other partners. We have a street football, gym bus, youth bus, and it's encouraging young people to not be antisocial and have healthy lifestyles. I'm a great believer in actually getting involved in these programmes and not just seeing what happens. At one time I met a young boy that said, "I didn't know this was here." Big man, seems to be the term I get when I'm out and about. But now that I know the football's here, I wouldn't have had these 4 cans of lager. I like a lager. And I said, "Well, so do I, but I'm 14, you're 14. And that's the difference." So at the end of the day, all these young men want to be footballers. They all want to play football. If we can access it through things like this, we can take that 5% of young people that might end up getting involved in antisocial behaviour. But sport is about making a difference to people's lives. Shona Robson, we have a dedicated...
You should be closing now.
Yes, I'm just doing that. Thank you, Presiding Officer. We have a dedicated sports minister who take up the challenge in tackling Scotland's issue on weight and obesity and encouraging participation in sport. Myself, I've not been at the gym since I've been elected. That's something I hope to actually stop so that I can go back to the gym and be ready for Paisley 10K. But in closing, it's important that our young people are provided with information about the ability to sustain a healthy lifestyle. And just in case the spirit of Jim Mitchell is hovering in the chamber, I'll end with saying I want to live in independent Scotland, but I want to live in a fit and healthy and fulfilled Scotland. Thank you.